Here is a 2024 BMW i5 m60i xDrive in Brooklyn Gray Metallic with the new vegan leather. This is more than just a sweet spot, which is what I'm going to explain to you. Comparable rivals, pros and cons, and the problem that I have with the new 5th gen. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and right off the bat you're going to notice how wide the fascia looks with the new kidney grille, the illuminated lights wrap around it, M badging that flows into the reworked BMW LED headlights and daytime runnings, and the lower highlights all the areas that are opened up to feed air into the dual motor setup. Now when I'm saying sweet spot, it's because if you go up to the new i7 m60, that's going to be double the price to this, and it's 0.2 seconds quicker. This is a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, which none of the rivals have that. Whether you go to Audi, Mercedes, or even Porsche. Underneath the hood will not have a frunk. You'll have 593 horsepower and 586 pound-feet of torque paired to a single-speed automatic transmission, reaching 60 at 3.7 seconds. Same top speed as the i7 m60 at 130 miles per hour, but the range is going to be 248 miles, achieving 89 mpges for the city and 90 mpges for the highway. Staggered setup. This is a 245, 40, 20-inch up front, 275, 35, 20 out back. M Sport Pro package gives us these red brake calipers. That's a 4-piston in the front, single floating caliper in the rear. Now when you're thinking rivals like the Audi e-tron GT that's over right around $107,000, this has 70 horsepower more in 0.2 of a second quicker 0 to 60. It is 1 mile less in range. Going into Mercedes, when you jump up to the AMG, which is what this would compete against, that has 617 horsepower, and again, over $100,000 price point. Any vehicle it competes against, it's going to be that sweet spot in which, if you're thinking I need to go 7, you might want to think 5. Over 20 miles more range than the AMG. Yes, it's 0.5 seconds slower, and this is going to be faster than the G80 electrified. Charging on that will be a little bit quicker because you could go up to an 800 volt, which I don't know where you're going to find that in the US. There's not a lot of them. LED taillights, and on the lower, it's the diffuser, all gloss black elements, front and rear parking sensors, and a 360-degree reverse camera. Kick to open or power liftgate that goes into 18.4 cubic feet of storage bag holders on both sides. A storage nook underneath the floor compensates for that frunk. Split fold the rear bench in the back at a 60-40 split or a 40-20-40 split. That's going to increase the cargo to the i5 m60. And leg room. The 5 Series is now a little bit longer, which gives a little bit more space. Driver focus setup, gloss black elements, and you get the crystal that's coming through the interior with the Bauer & Wilkins upgraded sound system, BMW's curved 1-panel, 2 screens with a heads-up display, auto-dimming rear view mirror, and the large pano moon roof. Going into a 14.9 touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. For more seat functions, you click onto here and it'll give you at least a total of 8 or more settings. Put it into reverse, 360-degree reverse camera, and you can hear the noise that comes out. Front and rear gets trajectory. You can also go into the more and go to 3D view. This has the gesture, which simply goes all around the vehicle. You can also touch, and you can also use the iDrive, which this is iDrive 8.5. Click back into the more, go into the car wash, showing the trajectory for the front so you don't scratch the staggered wheel setup. You can also clean the camera, wireless charging pad, and the air vents are cool because it's digital. So you just slide your finger across to open or close the vent, and this is actually how you move around the vent for the airflow. and the key fob for the i5. USB ports, ambient lighting, gloss black material with the glass controls, which when we go into the My Modes, you can toggle this over to go into Sport, which will also contour the seat. And you can also change the iconic sounds to turn on and off. Open up inside, 12-volt charger, an area for a smartphone. It's going to be soft to touch. The steering wheel is derived out of the iX with the M-badging flat bottom. You get the 12 o'clock multi-function and the boost with the blue that goes around the BMW 12.3-inch driver cluster that can go through content. You can also change it to the AR, which will show the front camera layout. That's usually what I leave it on instead of navigation because it just looks pretty cool. You can also change the layout, therefore making that screen a little bit more visible for you when you're driving, but obviously look outside. The heads-up display, you can also do the same thing. The dashboard and the door panels configure in together. No soft closed doors. One touch up and down for the windows. It's going to be a little bit more sporty, but you expect it because this is the M60. With a storage pocket that you can fit at least a couple beverages. Room and leg room. No storage behind any of the front seats. Charging ports and a connector with more USB in the center, and you can option a dual climate control in the rear. Air vents in the back. Armrests with cup holders, and the door gets manual sunshades, and you have electronic sunshade in the back. It's going to be more sporty, just like the front, and about the same size storage pocket. Sliding into the center, the rails are pushed up enough, it's wide enough, so feet, butt, shoulder space is not necessarily a problem. We have the pano more or less open, so it gives us a couple inches more for headroom. 593 horsepower, 586 pound-feet of torque, reaching 60, 3.7 seconds. Look at this. It does that. 50-50 weight distribution. A lot of power. You could just feel it when you're taking the bends. Oh man. That's what a 50-50 weight distribution does. The G-force is insane. It's quick and it just wraps around the bends. We're not gonna do a boost. We're just gonna show you what it is without a boost. The iconic sounds that filter in is also fun and pleasing because you know how much power you're getting when you push the electric pedal. Quiet interior otherwise. In the end, you can just keep feeding it. Now the range isn't too bad. When you start going anything M, even in a combustion engine, you're expecting to spend a little bit more on fuel. So I can appreciate that I'm still getting nearly 90 mpges for the city and highway, more or less combined. And I know it's 89 mpges for the city. I'm gonna switch it into efficient. It's going to make the seat not contour to your body as much, but you can also change the seat setting in the infotainment screen. Now, this is gonna take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is when you're going electric and you're thinking, well, I don't wanna do the i4. Maybe I wanna do the i7. This now enters into that sweet spot of not just savings, because of 0.2 second difference in a 0 to 60 is not a huge difference. Not only that, but you have a sufficient amount of room because they have increased the length and the wheelbase by a touch, in which they have given some interior space. Now, we don't receive a frunk, which can be a con. However, in the trunk, they give you extra storage space that you can throw in your charger or any day bags if you're going on a quick vacation. You can also split fold the seats, which makes it a little bit more spacious because you got 3.4 inches or so more in length than the 5th gen. I'm not a huge fan of electric variants, but 8 hours of charging from a 10 to 100% isn't that bad. In the exterior, I'm digging it. I mean, a lot of people may be saying, well, the grille is too big, now it's a little bit more boxy, but I feel that it just gives you that look of performance. I don't know what that guy was thinking. He just cut in front of somebody. They're going 60 here. I like that it's under 100 grand and you're getting all this performance. This is just in regular or efficient mode. Now you're gonna hear the road noise filtering a lot more so on this. Now that's going to lead me to the cons, and first off, the big problem. Yes, we're saving about 20 grand from the i7, and they do the same thing. They put these plastic grills on the speakers instead of using aluminum. When I'm at this price, I would like to see aluminum. We're not getting these Swarovski crystals, no soft closed doors. If you're taller than me, you have a little bit of a lip in the center cluster because of the air vents that's in the rear, and the infotainment screen. You're actually going to have to utilize it a little bit more so than my liking, because most, or I would say at least near half of your seat settings are in that iDrive, in which you can't move the seat cushions or make it contour to your body unless you're using the actual infotainment screen, which can be a pro or a con because some people like to actually do that functionality, but I personally would like it to be all on the seats. I do like that we have this digital touchpad here so you can turn on and off the vents, and the way they're structured makes it feel more like a house setup, so it's very luxurious. It's more upscale than any of the rivals, and when I'm competing against rivals like Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, Genesis, it's starting to get packed. I wouldn't really compare this too much to a Tesla because range is going to be obviously better in that. But performance, what you're getting here is a completely different animal. And that's why it leads to this being the sweet spot, because it's under 100 grand. It more or less performs better than all of them. I mean, it's a great package if you're looking for an electric vehicle. And because it's a little bit longer, is it easy to get in and out? It is. You can maneuver in a traffic congested area. Doesn't feel that long. I mean, you have nearly 600 horsepower. So if you ever feel like you can't get anywhere, just push the throttle, man. It's insane how fast this car can go. The steering is going to be a little bit more artificial. You can somewhat tighten it up when you get into sport mode. But realistically speaking, this is more of an everyday vehicle with track in mind, because it's an electric variant in which if you're doing performance all the time, it is going to diminish the battery, and that's pretty much with every single electric variant. We have it in sport mode. We're going to check the turn radius. Hopefully people stop calling and texting me. It's going to get right at 2 lanes, not bad. And look at this thing go. It's a fun vehicle. If you're wanting to go electric, this is a great option. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise website and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2024 BMW i5 M60 for our car review.